ladies and gentlemen, I was afraid that at some point this was going to happen. What'd you do? I got in the car. Because if there was any way I could save him, I had to do something. I couldn't just take him. You guys. So 20 or 30 minutes later, the surgeon came out and said he would.
All right, YouTube, welcome back to Josh Murray Reactions. So glad you're here. I want to share some stuff with you today in light of all of the Charlie Kirk stuff going on. And something that just caught my eye was Frank Turek and his breakdown of the Charlie Kirk situation, specifically because I didn't even know that Charlie and Frank were as close of friends as they were. And so we're going to watch about a 10-minute clip that Frank just put out on his crossexamine.org site about what happened on that day with Charlie. But to give you some backlog here, and you can get all this in his full video that I'll link in the description below, but Frank was close with Charlie. He was actually a mentor to Charlie, and I didn't even know this. And it starts to make sense now when I think about all of the different things I've heard him say and some of the defenses he's given in some of his debates. It sounded a lot like what Frank uses. And so it was really cool to see this and to know this and to know just how close of a relationship they had with each other. And so he goes through the whole thing of how they would meet often, they would talk often, they would go for walks together, they would help prep for debates together. He would meet with him before he went on different campuses talking about, okay, how can I have the best answer to these questions and so on and so forth. And so just to see the relationship here is cool. And this is a hard one to watch because you can just tell how much of a relationship that he had with Charlie. And so I would encourage you to watch this whole video, but some of the very breaking news out of this and very interesting news out of this is some of the details of what happened right when Charlie was hit and then when he was taken. So there was a lot of talk of they had a pulse while they were there, or maybe he died right away. Frank was actually right there. He was right on the side of Charlie when this happened. He witnessed the whole thing. And in fact, as you'll hear from his story, got in the vehicle on the way to the hospital. And so you're going to hear this whole story here. So I just want to present this about 10-minute clip to you that I cut out of his hour-and-a-half video, again, that you should go watch and listen to. It's great. And just react to some of it with you as we go. So let's get into this video.
Where we'll show you some footage here. I mean, they were everywhere. I've never seen a crowd so enthusiastic to see Charlie. So Charlie starts flipping these hats. You know, he's got the Make America Great Again hats, the 47 hats. And so I'm just kind of standing there and someone on staff just hands me a row of hats. So I go, oh, I guess I get to flip them too. So I'm flipping them all over the place. And people are just excited. They're chanting USA, USA. I mean, they just love Charlie. So I start FaceTiming my wife. I'm saying, look at this. This is incredible. Then I start FaceTiming my son and my daughter-in-law while Charlie sits down and begins to ask questions. Now, this is where you may have seen an internet conspiracy, the man in the white hat.
This is interesting. We heard all of these conspiracy theories. It was going all over X, all over Facebook about people giving signals and things like that before the shooting happened. One of the dudes was Frank himself. And I didn't even know this. You can see him right here in this picture where he's holding up his phone. And so listen to what he's got to say here. This is quite fascinating, but to think that there were people behind him and then to find out that it's Frank giving signals and stuff, like, seemed quite ridiculous to me. But let's continue on and listen.
Was giving signals to the shooter. Yeah, the man in the white hat was me, okay? I did this with my hat. Maybe I touched my nose or something while I'm holding my phone because I'm FaceTiming my son and daughter-in-law. And they're huge Charlie fans. So I'm maybe 30 feet from Charlie. I'm right off his right elbow. I'm standing probably just off camera if the camera's going forward on him. I'm maybe about his 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And I'm just filming away. And by the way, to show you how stupid this is, they thought Dan, his main security guy, was giving signals too. Signals for what? You don't need signals. There's a sniper up there. He doesn't need anyone to signal anything. He can look through his scope and see what's going on. What do you think? He's looking through his scope and going, what's the signal? What am I? It's crazy that people actually believe this stuff. But, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? Don't believe in these crazy conspiracy theories. You need evidence. It's ridiculous. I didn't even know about it for...
It's a valid point because, again, like we just talked about, there were so many different theories out there of people giving signals. Maybe somebody close actually ended up shooting him rather than a sniper far away. And there's still details out there that we don't know. So we need to keep that in mind, that we don't have all the answers yet. And there's still conspiracies going on out there. But to have somebody that was right there, that was right a part of it, that was literally sitting next to him, this is very interesting information, new information that I bet you is not even gotten out there yet, that you're going to start seeing on some mainstream websites soon and some mainstream media outlets soon. So let's keep going.
Didn't even know about it for probably 36 hours after the murder, or 30 hours after the murder. We were in a bubble. We were just paying attention to the family. We were just paying attention to the friends. Didn't go on the internet much. When I finally meet my wife back in Phoenix, she goes, there are millions of people who think you were in conspiracy to kill Charlie. I'm like, what? That's crazy. So thanks to my friends Elisa Childers and Seth Dillon and others, they tried to clear the air on that. You still have people saying, oh yeah, we need to check into this guy and this other guy too, the security guy. It's ridiculous. So the first question, Charlie's presenting evidence for the gospel to a Mormon. That's one of the things that one of the questions that we had prepared for just before the event. And then he began to answer a question on trans violence. Someone was saying, oh, should we take guns away from trans people? Well, in light of what happened, the answer is yes. Because right about then, I hear this pop. It sounded like it was close. We later learned it was from over 100 yards away. And
to be fair, anybody that shoots guns or is a hunter or anything like that, you can relate to that. Even a rifle, high-powered rifle like a 30-06 that is 100 yards away is going to be loud. And so this is not a surprising statement by Frank that it sounded like it was right behind him. A 30-06 is a large rifle, and it's going to sound quite loud even from 100 yards away, which actually isn't that far away.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see Charlie go back. And so I start to head toward Charlie, and I see that the security guys are already there. So then I duck thinking, okay, maybe there's other shots coming. And then I'm still on the phone. And my daughter-in-law told me these were the first words out of my mouth. No, 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 no. So I went behind. There's like a backdrop. Charlie's sitting here. There's a backdrop. I'm over here. So I go behind because I know the security guys are taking him out the other side. So I'm running with them toward the car. And the phone is still on. And ladies and gentlemen, I was afraid that at some point this was going to happen. I thought that somebody would take a shot at Charlie. And I think maybe Charlie did at some point think so too. But he thought that the security was good. And his security team was good. But somebody way up there, whoever should have had that blew it. I don't know who that...
I've thought about this a lot. Charlie does a lot of things when they're on campuses, but often he's like in front of the school or he's kind of off-site a little bit or something like that. This was a very exposed place. And it makes me wonder, what was the thought process behind this? I understand he's not president, so he's going to get a different kind of security detail and that kind of thing, but he's a high-profile figure, and so to not have that covered or thought about is very interesting to me. Harkens back a lot to what happened when Trump got shot at, the attempted assassination. These spots that weren't covered, it just raises questions that need to be answered, I think. So let's keep listening.
That was. But I thought about what would I do? What would I do if that happened and I was there? Now, here's what Erica wants me to relate on Sunday.
I'm sorry I keep stopping here, but it's important to note that he talked about earlier in the video, if you're not going to watch it, where Erica, his wife, had talked with Frank, because obviously he's very close to the family, of revealing this new information that we have. This is brand new information that nobody's heard yet up to this point, which is Thursday, if we're keeping track. This is new information. Pay attention, and Erica wanted him to share this information.
This is going to be the hard part, but maybe also the comforting part. Charlie Kirk was literally like a son to me. I have 3 sons. He was like my 4th son. My 3 sons are a little bit older than Charlie. He was like my 4th son. So when he was hit, if your son got hit, what would you do? What would you do? I got in the car. Because if there was any way I could save him, I had to do something. I couldn't just, just take him. You guys got it. So they got him into the side of the car. It was an SUV. It was the SUV we took over. And I'm on one side, and there's actually some video of this. Somebody was taking video of this. I'm on one side of the car, the right side, and they're getting Charlie in. So I run over to the other side, but the guy who was dragging him in is now blocking that entrance. So at that point, I run around to the back. I pop the back gate open, and I jump in the back. The car lurches forward. Apparently somebody jumped in the car. So the car lurches forward. So I almost fall out of the car, the SUV. Then I grab the thing and close it. And there's 5 of us in the car now. Justin is driving. Dan is up front with the GPS. Rick has got him. Rick's on my left, and Brian is there, and I'm coming over the back seat, and Charlie's laid out in front, just right in front of me. And Charlie's so tall, we can't close the door. We drove 4 miles, I don't know, it's 4 something miles, all the way to the hospital with the door open. To this day, I don't know how Brian stayed in the car, because we're just go, 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 go. We're trying to stop the bleeding. You saw it. And I'm yelling, come on.
It's hard to watch even because you can just see the emotion and what's going on here and how much he cared for Charlie. But this is fascinating information that we've not had yet. This is a firsthand account from in the vehicle with Charlie on the way to the hospital. He was one of the people there with him. So this is fascinating.
Charlie, come on. Meanwhile, my phone is still on. My son and daughter-in-law are hearing this whole thing. And his security team, again, Justin, Dan, Brian, and Rick, they love Charlie. But they were much cooler than I mean, they're just carrying out, they're calmly, but they're swiftly doing exactly what they were trained to do. Rick starts praying out loud. I'm praying out loud. We're yelling, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. My son's hearing all this. And we're doing the best we can to navigate traffic. This is not a highway. We're on surface streets. And suddenly there's an ambulance coming toward us. And there was conversation in the car. Should we stop? We're like, no, just keep going. Just keep going. The doctor later said that was the right thing to do. Ambulance goes by us. We're still heading to the hospital, trying to get there. At one point, somebody says, let's get there in one piece because we're cutting through intersections. We're just beeping the horn. This is not a emergency vehicle. There's no lights. There's none of this. And I go, we got to start CPR. So I try and start that. Now, Charlie wasn't there. His eyes were fixed. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking past me right into eternity. He was with Jesus already. He was killed instantly and felt absolutely no pain. That's what I was told later. But of course, we had to try. And by the way, there was just nothing any of us could do about it. We were giving him CPR, but nothing was happening. It wasn't like if we had better first aid or we had better medical facilities or we were faster to the hospital, we could have saved him. We couldn't. So if that's any comfort at all, Charlie didn't suffer.
I'm comforted at least to know that there wasn't any suffering in this. This tragedy is, I think, even beyond our comprehension, because you can see the effect that it's having on our country, on our nation. There's obviously a revival that's been happening for a long time, and this has seemed to ignite a bigger fire within that revival. But just to know that there was no pain there is in some way slightly comforting in this time of complete chaos.
He was gone. He was with Jesus, absent from the body, present with the Lord. That's where he was. Now, it is true, when we got to the hospital and they started working on him right away, they did get a pulse back. And so Rick and I were just, everyone's praying. We're just praying for a miracle. We had a small sliver of hope. And the doctor later said that we got a pulse because Charlie was a very healthy man, but the shot was catastrophic. So 20 or 30 minutes later, the surgeon came out and said he was dead. Now,
so that's it, folks. A lot of new information here that we didn't have before. Just to even, again, know that Frank was there in the first place and was a part of this whole thing is just fascinating to me. It's interesting and actually kind of cool to learn a little bit about who was in Charlie's circle and then this firsthand account. But the biggest takeaway that I think we can take from this, amongst everything else going on around, is that life is fragile and it's finite. In the bigger picture of time itself, we're here but a fraction of time, such a small time. And in one of Charlie's more popular quotes that's going around, someone had asked him, what would you want somebody to know if you had 30 seconds left to live? And he said that you're about to face judgment. And the one way that you can get away or get out of that judgment that is going to be brought on all sinners is to know who Jesus is. And I think you'd want everybody to know that the death rate for humanity is still 100%. We all end up dying at some point in our lives. If we don't know when that's going to be, and that's been more emphasized than ever in this situation. But if you don't know who Jesus is, I would recommend that you investigate him. Investigate the truth in who Jesus is, and know that someday we will all go to spend eternity somewhere. And the question is, where's that going to be? In the loving arms of your Creator or separated from him? And so my encouragement would be to come to know who Jesus is, come to faith in who Jesus is. And if you're not, at least investigate who he is in the truth of the gospel. So I'll leave you with that today. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think of this firsthand account from this tragic thing that's happened. I would love to hear your commentary on it, and hope to see you in the next video.